Hey, boys and girls, welcome back to the Black Rock and Mohawk Railroad. I got this weird backdrop on Amazon. It was cheap, and I just thought it was cool, so I put it up, waiting for a train to hit me. So that's all right. Um, kind of like it because there's crows. You can see that hanging around. It's kind of cool. Anyway, um, I made a video yesterday, kind of following up on small footprint areas for your layout, businesses and such. And I started getting, excuse me, started getting more thought about what was going on in the layout. And I'm putting in a creek. And so I decided to dig into Mohawk, Tennessee. Now, I've honestly never been in downtown Mohawk. There's nothing there. Um, but I thought, let me just look around. Well, it turns out that Mohawk originally, way back in the day, was called Lick Creek Siding. And then they named it Payne, P-A-N-E. And then some Mohawk Indians came through during Civil War time, and they decided to call it Mohawk. That's how it got its name. And Lick Creek is kind of it's a creek. You look at it from Google Earth, you can't really see it, but you can tell that it's been larger than it probably is right now. There's a bridge, Norfolk Southern. Southern Railway ran right through there. And there's a depot that's abandoned and getting dilapidated, but it's cool. I think I'll show it to you here too in a minute. And so the stream, creek, whatever I'm putting in, we're going to call it Lick Creek. Why not? I don't have any other name, you know? So it's just kind of cool to take what's reality and then kind of like make it your own. That's part of the beauty of model railroading. And another thing I mentioned in the video was when I'm planning track, I use old flex track from my old layout 30 years ago. And the reason I do that is I want, I, I cut pieces of flex track to fit, right? But then I changed my mind, and that's all wasted, kind of. And I got the old track. I used the layouts or the turnouts, I put those in there. But for any flex track, I just use my old one, cut it as I need it. You'll see that in the video coming up here next. And also, excuse me, I use Atlas rail joiners for the planning stage. When reality hits and I'm using the Walters track brand new and got everything set up, I use the Walters rail joiners. And if you've not used them, they're really good. There's a big difference between the Atlas ones and the Walters ones. They're probably like Payco ones, probably, because I use Payco um, leaders off the track. They have a wire hook and it's soldered to the rail joiner, and it's as tight as Walters, so it's on that level. But it makes everything nice and tight. I don't solder. I hate soldering. I'm not going to solder all my track together. Shouldn't do that anyway because it expands and contracts. And I would get it wrong. So it's worked fine for me perfectly. No problems. I mentioned in an earlier video that I think, I may have to pull up some track. I don't think I'm going to. It was rolling stock that was the problem. And so I'm working on all the rolling stock, replacing, putting metal wheels and everything, replacing some of the trucks, getting weight on them. So I'm feeling pretty good about it all. So I'll show you the picture of the two rail joiners side by side. And as you can see, night and day. Night and day. It's amazing. And just for fun, I'll show you the Midway Southern Railway train station. Not in great shape, but I'll use that as a lead in to the other video that I shot yesterday. Okay? Thanks for stopping by. Hey, YouTube, I'm back again. But we're continuing a little small footprint idea. So I've got a Y here. Obviously, this is going to go back onto the next table. This will be on the next table. All that will be on the next table. But it gives you the idea of the smallness of size. So what I did is say, well, heck, I got this one siding here, so I'm going to put the scrapyard right there. So the scrapyard will be like from here at an angle back to like this, have a fence around it. And that's the biggest car I've got put in there. So it's going to work. Got the big crane with the claws and it'll load it up. So two very small customers on one siding makes it easy peasy. Now, if I move this out of the way a little bit, I'll show you, one of the things you have to consider is, okay, how far back does this have to go to clear this turnout? Well, goes up there, but this is just going to be my switcher engine. It's small. So if it goes down one of these, it won't interfere with this when it's over further down. So it'll be perfect. Now, whichever way it goes, flip this over here, go that way, just enough. So it won't matter what position that's in, it'll still go, and everything will be handy. Right there, right up front. So that's the plan for this. Now, I'll tell you, there's something I do I don't use, I use the turnouts that I'm going to use for sure, right? But all this track here, I just use old track to do the planning because I'm always cutting pieces and then I change my mind and that's wrong. And so I just use some old track that I've got laying around. And, I got different sizes, like there's some back here, and I can just cut them and not feel like I'm wasting them. And then I'm going to put down Walther's track, all new. And let me tell you another thing too. One other thing. Okay. This is your standard Atlas rail joiner. I hate them. Hate them. Look how big that hole is. And they get real loose and they're crappy, but I use them to do this because I'm pinning everything down. And then when I go to put the track in, the Walther's rail joiners, I use code 100. It's just because I started 100 and I'm old and I like the heights so I can see better. But the rail joiners for them are amazing. They're much thinner looking than that. And maybe I got one around here. I'm sure I do. But anyway, they're awesome rail joiners, and they're super tight. They go on. They're individually cut, so there's no little lip on the edge like all of these. You have the lip, and it's either bent up or bent down, whatever. That's gone. And compared to this, it's about half the size of. Well, that one's got a bend up part, but it's about half the size of that thickness. It's a little hard to get on, but man, they join them great. So there's another little tip for you. Now, I got to put in a little river here. And it's going to go back and twist. And you see back there's water laying. So I'm putting in this stream or river or creek, whatever you want to call it. And this for sure I'm using. It's going to be like that. That's for the road that's coming from over here. And it's going to go right next to the fence of the scrapyard. And then there's this. Now I've got a double girder bridge that's flat. And the two tracks, would just come off. And I could widen them or whatever, but it would stay flat. Or I do this, and this one stays flat. Whoops. But the big one would start going up. And that means, and I mean, I like the idea of building a hill going into a mountain and having this go up. I'm just not sure if I'm ready for that. It's going to take up a lot of space to put that in that I can't use for anything else. That's the other idea. But, I'll kind of scan around here. It's going to go around this side, okay? And, like I did over here, I rounded the corner with the backdrop and, I put this cheap mountain in, but it works good for me to kind of hide, where the road goes back that way. And, I'll just put in some more big trees over there. And I'll put big trees like around the river to kind of meet the river I'm building into that backdrop. And then, some big trees over here and stuff. It's daunting. So if you would, leave a message down below and tell me what you think. Should I stay flat, or should I be adventurous and build up? I got one of these on my eBay store, B&M Trains and Collectibles. I got one of these for sale in there, but I got two of them. So I can use that one and I can use this one. And I already got them. So thanks for watching, and I appreciate y'all. Subscribe, like, all that kind of good stuff, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.